Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into another mystery.
Always.
Today, we're taking on UFOs, those unexplained aerial phenomena that never seem to go out of style.
Yeah, there's always something new to talk about.
We've got this great book, UFOs, Unraveling the Mysteries of the Skies.
Sounds like it's packed with stuff.
So let's get started. What makes these UFO sightings so fascinating? Is it just us, or is there something about those unexplained lights in the sky that just grabs hold of our imaginations?
Well, it's like they tap into this deep human need to understand the unknown, this sense of wonder.
Yeah. Like, are we alone in the universe? Is there something else out there?
Right, exactly.
But before we get too far ahead, let's back up a bit and define what we're actually talking about. I mean, when we say UFO, what do we really mean? Is it just little green men in flying saucers, or is there more to it than that?
Okay, so this book actually makes a distinction between UFOs and UAPs.
UAPs?
Yeah, unidentified aerial phenomena. It's a broader term.
Oh, I see.
It's basically anything in the air that we can't immediately identify.
So it could be anything, really.
Pretty much, yeah, like a weird weather event or a strange light. It's a UAP until we can explain it.
Oh, that makes sense. It's kind of like a placeholder for the truly puzzling stuff.
Exactly.
Now, the book mentions some pretty old stuff, too, like ancient texts and artwork that depict strange objects in the sky. Could these be early UFO sightings, or are we reading too much into it?
It's tough to say for sure, but think about it. People from thousands of years ago saw something unusual up there. They had to try and make sense of it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Whether it's an actual UFO or a symbolic image, it shows that people have always been fascinated by these things.
It's like we're hardwired to search for answers in the sky. Okay, let's move on to more recent times. The book takes us on a little journey through UFO history, and it all starts with the Roswell incident.
Oh, Roswell, the classic.
Right, 1947, an alleged crash landing in New Mexico. It really kicked off the modern UFO craze, didn't it?
It sure did. Conspiracy theories about government cover-ups and alien autopsies.
And the explanations. First, it was a weather balloon,
Yeah.
right? But then they said it was a top-secret program monitoring Soviet nuclear tests. It almost seems like each explanation just fueled the speculation even more.
It's like, they were trying to explain it away, but it just made things more mysterious.
Exactly. I think it played right into our anxieties about government secrecy, the idea that they're hiding something groundbreaking from us.
It's the ultimate truth is out there scenario.
Absolutely. And then we have Project Blue Book, the Air Force investigation into UFOs from the 50s to the late 60s.
They investigated over 12,000 reports. Most of them turned out to be natural phenomena or misidentifications, but still.
But still, it's a pretty serious effort to try and understand these things. It shows that the government was taking it seriously, at least at some level.
Right. And even after Project Blue Book shut down, the fascination didn't go away. It just kept growing.
It's a mystery that just wouldn't quit. And then you have cases like the Phoenix lights in '97. Thousands of people, even government officials, saw these strange lights over Arizona. Hard to explain that one away as just weather.
Yeah, the Phoenix lights, they were just one of these well-documented sightings that just defy any easy explanation.
And then there were those videos the Pentagon released in 2020.
The ones captured by Navy pilots.
Yeah, they went viral, didn't they? And it wasn't just the footage itself. The fact that the government was basically saying, hey, we don't know what this is either. That was huge.
It definitely shifted the conversation in a big way.
For sure. And this book points out that it's not just the U.S. governments all over the world, like the U.K. and Brazil. They've all had these classified UFO programs.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what they're keeping under wraps.
So what does the government really know? The book talks about this 2021 UAP report where the government looked at 144 cases, but they could only explain one of them.
That's just crazy.
Right. Doesn't automatically mean aliens, I know. But it does make you think, what could these things be?
The report itself even admitted that some UAPs might represent some kind of breakthrough technology.
Now that's interesting, but before we get carried away, we should consider some of the more down-to-earth explanations.
Of course, of course.
I mean, not every strange light is a spaceship.
Right, sometimes it's just planets or meteors that people misidentify.
Our weather.
Oh yeah, weather. Think about those lenticular clouds. They're smooth and saucer-shaped, so they can really look like a spacecraft.
I've seen those. They're pretty eerie. And let's not forget good old human error, hoaxes, camera glitches.
Right, all that stuff can distort what we see and make us think we're seeing something we're not.
And we're all primed to see patterns, even where they don't exist.
Our brains just work that way. We want to find meaning and order, especially when it comes to things like UFOs. It's exciting to think there's something out there beyond our understanding.
Absolutely. So even with all these explanations, we're still left with a bunch of sightings that we just can't explain. What about the possibility of extraterrestrial life? Does the book get into that?
It does. And while it doesn't focus only on aliens, it talks about the work of SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence.
So they're still out there looking for signs of other civilizations.
Oh yeah, they're always on the lookout. The fact that we haven't found anything for sure yet doesn't mean they're not out there.
There's still so much of the universe to explore.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've touched on the science, but what about pop culture? How has that influenced the way we see UFOs? The book mentions movies like Close Encounters and Independence Day and how they've really shaped our imaginations.
Yeah, they tap into that fascination with the unknown, and they kind of fuel speculation, you know?
Like maybe this is what aliens would look like if they came to Earth.
Right, or how they might act.
And then you have shows like The X-Files that really popularize conspiracy theories. It's interesting how fiction can sometimes influence our understanding of real-world events.
It's a reminder that we need to be careful about where we're getting our information and to think critically about what we see and hear.
Always good advice. All right, let's dive into some of the actual theories about UFOs. What are the main contenders, according to the book?
Well, you've got the classic one, the extraterrestrial hypothesis. The idea that some UFOs are spacecraft from advanced civilizations that are visiting Earth.
The alien visitation theory.
Exactly.
But there are other theories too, right?
Hmm.
Not everyone's convinced it's aliens.
Right, right. The book also explores the possibility that some UFOs could actually be advanced human technology.
What do you mean, like super secret government projects or something?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe experimental aircraft or drones that are so advanced that we mistake them for something from another planet.
So we might be looking at the future of our own tech and thinking it's alien. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it kind of turns things on their head.
It does. And then there's the really out there stuff, interdimensional or time travel.
Now we're getting into the really mind-bending possibility.
That sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It might. But some physicists actually theorize that there might be other dimensions beyond our own, and maybe there are beings that can travel between them.
Whoa.
And if that's true, their technology would seem totally incomprehensible to us.
I can imagine.
Like magic, almost.
Okay, I'm starting to see why this whole UFO thing is so captivating. It really forces us to confront the limits of what we know.
That's it. It's a constant reminder that we don't know everything. There's still so much to discover about the universe and our place in it.
It's humbling and exciting all at the same time.
For sure. It's amazing how, even with all the explanations, these unexplained phenomena keep challenging what we think is possible.
It's like, are we on the verge of a breakthrough? Or is this mystery just going to keep going? Speaking of breakthroughs, the book talks about how new technology might be the key to figuring out the truth about UFOs.
Yeah, think about radar and satellite imaging. We can monitor the skies now with incredible accuracy. The data we're gathering today it was unimaginable a few decades ago.
It's mind-blowing, the progress we've made. And AI. I mean, AI has to be a game changer here, right?
Absolutely. AI can sort through tons of data, way more than humans can, and spot patterns we might miss, so we can separate the truly weird stuff from the misidentified objects or just plain errors.
It's like having this super detective helping us solve the mystery. But technology can only take us so far, right? What about those historical cases, the ones that haven't been solved? You got to start with Roswell, right? The OG of UFO mysteries.
Roswell. So interesting because the official explanation keeps changing, which honestly just feeds the conspiracy theories. First, it was a weather balloon, then a top secret program to watch the Soviets. But people just aren't buying it.
It's like every time they try to explain it, it just becomes more mysterious. But what I find interesting is that this book, it doesn't try to shy away from the mystery. It lays out the facts, but it also says, hey, they're unanswered questions.
Yeah, exactly. You need that balanced perspective, you know? Don't just believe everything you hear, but don't shut down possibilities either. We're dealing with the unknown here. Always be a little skeptical, right?
Skepticism is key, especially with all the intriguing cases out there. The book mentions this 1952 incident where radar operators at like 2 different airports tracked these unidentified things zipping around at crazy speeds. What's wild is that these were military guys trained to spot aircraft.
Trained professionals seeing something they couldn't explain. It makes you think, if it wasn't a plane, what was it?
Right. And then there's the Rendlesham Forest incident in England, 1980. U.S. Air Force guys see lights in the forest, even a craft that landed. The book says there's even physical evidence like marks on the ground and higher radiation levels. It's not just people saying they saw something.
Right. It's not just stories. It gets you thinking.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay, so Roswell. Weird radar stuff,
Yeah.
a landed craft. There's something going on here.
Definitely a pattern of weirdness. Things seen over and over for decades by people you'd think you could trust, often with technical backgrounds. It's got to make you investigate more.
It's almost like these cases are saying, hey, rethink what you think is possible. What about that idea of super advanced technology? Could some of these sightings be like sneak peeks into our own future? The book mentions UFOs being experimental aircraft or drones so advanced we think they're alien.
It's a total mind flip. What if we're seeing human brilliance, but we just don't recognize it yet? Think about it. Go back in time and show someone a stealth bomber. They'd probably think it's a UFO.
Makes you wonder what they're cooking up in secret labs somewhere.
Right. How fast is tech really moving? What are they keeping secret?
Okay, so aliens, super advanced human tech. What about the really crazy stuff like interdimensional travel, time travel? The book mentions those briefly. Is there any actual science behind those ideas?
It's speculative, but in physics, they're exploring the idea of multiple dimensions and warping time and space. Imagine beings who can travel through those dimensions. Their tech would blow our minds.
It'd be like magic.
Exactly. And it makes you realize how little we might actually understand about how the universe works. We're still babies, cosmically speaking.
Whoa. Okay, so what if some of these UFO sightings really are something beyond anything we understand? What does that mean for us? Where do we fit in?
That's the big question. It could mean we're not alone, that there are other intelligences out there, maybe way smarter than us. It makes you question everything you thought you knew about reality.
It's kind of scary, but also really exciting. It pushes us to open our minds and be okay with not knowing everything.
Exactly. We got to be curious, keep asking questions and pushing the limits of what we know.
It's all about the journey, not the destination.
Right. Every new piece of evidence, every theory gets us closer to understanding the universe.
It's like we're building a giant cosmic jigsaw puzzle.
Love that analogy. And sometimes those pieces don't fit the way we thought they would. That's when we have to reevaluate everything.
So we've explored the history, the theories, the mysteries. Where do we go from here?
It's been quite a journey. We've covered so much ground, from historical sightings to mind-blowing theories.
It's like we've been on this whirlwind tour of everything UFO. So where do we land after all this? What do we take away?
I think the biggest takeaway for me is just how complex this whole UFO thing is. It's not simple, right? It's not like, oh, it's this or it's that. It's a whole bunch of pieces, and you need to be open to different ideas, but also be critical, you know? Think about things carefully.
Right. We shouldn't just jump to conclusions. Not every weird light is an alien spaceship, but we also shouldn't just dismiss everything as a hoax either.
Exactly. We need to be careful about the information we absorb. There's so much misinformation out there, so much sensationalism, but we also got to be open to new ideas, even the ones that sound crazy at first.
It's about finding that balance, right? Skepticism, but also curiosity.
Yeah. And remembering that search for answers, it never really ends. We might never know for sure what UFOs are, but that doesn't mean we should stop asking questions and trying to find out.
The journey is just as important as the destination, right?
Exactly. And with UFOs, that journey, it can lead to amazing discoveries. It pushes us to learn more about the world, about the universe.
It's like we're putting together this giant puzzle, a cosmic puzzle, and every UFO sighting is another piece.
I love that image. And sometimes those pieces, they don't fit where we thought they would. They make us rethink everything we thought we knew.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, let's leave our listeners with one final thought. What if, even with all the technology and all the science, some UFOs just remain unexplained? What does it tell us about the universe, about our place in it?
It tells us that there's still so much out there that we don't understand. That we're not the center of everything, that there might be things happening, things existing that are just beyond our comprehension.
It's humbling, but also pretty exciting, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. It means there's always more to explore, more to learn, more to discover.
And that's what makes this whole topic so fascinating. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of UFOs.
It's been a blast.
And until next time, keep looking up and keep wondering.